All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Get M&WBE Certified. My name is Christina Oth. I'm the project coordinator here at the City of Charleston, and this is a City of Charleston small business webinar from our Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Office. So if you're just logging on with us, please introduce yourself in the chat box, and we are going to go over some housekeeping and introduce ourselves. If you can go to the next slide there, Kip. Perfect. All right. So meet the team again. I'm Christina. We have our tech support, Kip Wobson. He is an intern with the Business and Neighborhood Services Office. And our presenter today is no other than Ruth Jordan. She is the manager of our Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Office here at the City of Charleston. So a couple of housekeeping rules. Today's presentation is being recorded and it will be available on our Small Business Workshops YouTube channel. You should get a reminder email tomorrow from signing up for this webinar that will link you to the YouTube page. So don't feel like you need to take super diligent notes. We'll have a recording available for you all. And for today, our participant video and audio is off. So you can only see the presenters, me, Kip, and Ruth. If you have any questions, you can use the Q&A box. We'll be able to answer questions throughout Ruth's presentation, as well as at the very end of the webinar. Great, so meet our wonderful presenter, Ms. Ruth Jordan. She is the M&WBE manager here at the City of Charleston, and her primary roles are, one second here. Great, her primary roles include implementing the City of Charleston's Minority Business Enterprise Certification Program for women and minority-owned businesses. She provides business development and training programs and connects businesses to the city's procurement and contracting opportunities, access to capital, and other business resource partners. Ruth has held numerous executive positions during her career, including interim CEO of Federal Healthcare Network, former federal procurement officer at the Naval Weapons Station in Charleston, senior M&WBE consultant with Williams & Associates, director of SC Voter Empowerment, licensed realtor, and chair of Charleston County Schools. So without further ado, I introduce Ms. Ruth Jordan.
Good morning, and welcome to Get Certified. I'm excited to see so many new faces in terms of your businesses. We've been doing several business development webinars, and I see a lot of new businesses as well as some of our prior friends. So hold on, get ready to understand how to become certified with the City of Charleston's M&WBE. And we're going to be using that word M&WBE. That's Minority, Women, and Businesses Enterprises. So you're going to see that a lot. So you ask the question, why should I be certified? Well, certification will give you and your business a leg up that otherwise you may not have the ability to be able to compete with established players. Certifications can help you gain business access to government contracts. You can benefit substantially from set-aside contracts. And we're going to talk about what those kinds of contracts and business opportunities that exist. Again, another reason to be certified. Certified businesses are added to our publicly accessible database. It will give you a greater visibility and exposure to other companies that you would not otherwise have exposure to. Our M&WBE, which is our Women Minority Enterprise Program, can provide free conferences, free networking opportunities. Also, some programs that are also offered is workshops, training, and courses to certify businesses. Now, these benefits vary by state, but overall, M&WBE certification gives businesses the ability to reach a broader network of customers, contracts, and resources. What are you waiting on? Also, it provides what we call business to business. So the question is, what are business to business? Well, if you're looking to do more work with businesses, whether it is with city, state, federal, larger companies, governmental agencies, to include utility companies, to include Boeing, to include colleges. These are what we call business-to-business opportunities. So many large companies have supplier diversity programs to promote opportunities for diverse suppliers. It helps to diversify and strengthen the supply chain and promote innovation and drives business expansion. And so you ask the question, well, why do these agencies or why do these companies want to do business with women minority-owned businesses? First of all, it provides an economic impact. It helps with job creation, increased wages, tax revenues, and that support our local economies in our communities. For every dollar that's invested or spent with an M&WBE, we now know that there is return of $1.74 back to our communities, which gives us better schools, better roads, better services. So investing in M&WBEs are especially a great thing. So here at the city of Charleston, and I will say this time and time again, whether it is the city of Charleston, whether it's the city of North Charleston, Berkeley County, MUSC, federal, state, other energy companies, all of these people have what we call participation goals. They are looking for you. So with the city of Charleston, we have an ordinance that was passed since 1973 that said for every dollar that the city spends for construction projects, 20% should go towards qualified companies that can do construction. 20% of every dollar that's spent for services, whether it's landscaping, or janitorial, or real estate, or architect services, you name it, 20% of services that the city buys should go towards qualified women and minority, whether it's IT or whether it is social media services, those type of things that the city purchased. And then 12% should go towards supply vendors, vendors who may be supplying, let's say, uniforms for our police officer, or paper, pens, janitorial supplies, construction supplies. 12% for every dollar that the city spends, we are looking to spend 12% of that towards supplies that the city may purchase. Now that's just what the city's goals are, but can you imagine what other organizations, what their goals are? Next slide, please. And so I talked about whether it's federal, state, or local municipal government, or even private sector. They are all looking to spend monies with women minority-owned businesses. And so one of the things that we have here in the city of Charleston is bidline. Every project, every supply that we are buying, you can find on the city of Charleston's bidline list. Back in the day when you were looking for a job, and I'm dating myself, guys, you would go to the want ads. Now we go to LinkedIn, now we go to job search. And so if you're a business looking to do business with the city of Charleston, you need to go to Bidline and see what opportunities. And we have Bidline that does our procurement, our housing, stormwater management, and capital projects. And so we're going to talk about where you can find that again at the City of Charleston's website, /Bidline. Next slide. One of the other benefits of being certified, I talked about this public database. For every company that is certified with the City of Charleston, you go to this public registry. This registry is updated monthly. It is categorized by the type of business, such as whether you're in concrete, construction, consulting services, janitorial services, landscaping. And this has the name of your company, what your type of services that you offer, your location, along with your certification number. And it will also show how long that certification lasts and when it expires. And so when people are looking to do business with you and a lot of others, they go to our public database. And so this is something that businesses are looking for because they're required to say, I have to use a certified women or minority owned business. And even residential needs, when we have others, people looking for just a painter or just a landscaper, they're constantly looking for businesses and they don't know who you are, so they go to our website. Next, please. And then finally, we have our M&WBE Spotlight. Once a quarter, what we do is we go and we take nominations from local businesses who are certified with the City of Charleston's Office of Women Minority Owned Business. We then have a committee that review all of our applications for M&WBE Spotlights, and then we place them on our website and then all of our social media venues, as well as our Hey Neighbor. And so can you just imagine this free advertisement that your business gets for 30 days? And then at the end of the year, you're recognized in one of our city council meetings with our mayor. And we're hoping to get back to having our breakfast roundtable where we will bring all of these M&WBE businesses together for our business spotlight breakfast of the year. Next slide. Now, you said all these benefits. How do I get certified? What is the process? And that's what I'm going to take the next 30 minutes and talk to you about is the certification process. Someone asked the question earlier, how much does it cost for me to become certified? Guess what, guys? It costs you zero. Zero, zero, zero. But it does cost you some time to put together the application. And Christina just dropped the link where you can go into our website and complete the application. Well, first of all, we need to determine who can apply. Well, let me just tell you who can apply. Anyone that meets these criteria are considered a woman or a minority-owned business owner who owns at least 51% of your business. Now, you can have a partner, but you need to make sure that you own at least 51% or more. You must have a real and substantial control of the daily operation of the business. When you said real and substantial control, that means you need to be the owner. You need to hold the highest office, which means president, manager, CEO. Now, you can't own the business and be the clerk because that's not a substantial control because the buck needs to start with you. Now, this is new. You must have been in business at least 1 full year. That means that if you started your business January 2021, and now it's January 22, you qualify. You must have been in business for at least 1 full year. You must have a net worth of less than $1.3 million. Now that's your net worth. That does not include your primary residence. And then if you are a for-profit business, your business sales or gross sales cannot exceed $7.5 million. Now, if you guys meet these criteria, guess what? You can be certified with us today, immediately after this webinar. Next slide, Kit. Now, the application is very simple. And it's only 2 pages, and we're going to take a few minutes and go through every page. Now, this is electronically available on our website, and Christina's going to drop that link in there if she hasn't dropped in the link. And you can complete this and print it and then get it notarized and then email it along with some requested documentation. Next slide. First of all, you got to have a business name. The business type, federal tax ID number, a NICS code, and then provide a brief description of what your business does. Now, I want to say this. I've been doing this for quite some time. Now, I know some of you might do multiple businesses. You might be a bricklayer. You might be a landscaper. You might be a brain surgeon. You might be a realtor. But you need to tell us what is your primary business that's being certified. And then establish that NICS code that meets that. And we're going to talk about that. And you ask the question, well, why do I need to figure that out? Because when people wanting to do business with you, they want to know, look here, what are you an expert at? What is your primary role? What kinds of business? What can I count on you? You might be a jack of all trades, but you need to master one. Next slide. Your federal tax ID number or your employee identification number, which we call it EIN, can be found on your business tax returns from a previous year, original documents of receipts from IRS, your state business division website from the Secretary of State when you registered your business with the Secretary of State or partnership or LLC or corporation. And so those are places where you can find your federal tax ID number or your EIN number. And then other documents that may contain your EIN number includes your business bank account, application for a business loan, application for business credit cards, copy of a state, local license, or a tax permit. All will either have your federal tax ID or your EIN number. And I hope each of you all already have a business bank account, because we're going to be talking about some business opportunities later on. And then you saw on the application your NICS codes. NICS code is the North American Industry Classification Code. The NICS is a self-assigned system. You pick the code that best suits your business and use it when asked. No one assigns your NICS code but you. Like, say, for instance, here we see under plumbing. If you're doing plumbing or plastic plumbing or pottery, there is a NICS code for that. And so when you go into the website for the NICS codes, you can put in the keywords of what you're searching for, whether it's consulting services or landscaping or construction. Then you can identify within that category what best suits you. So to identify the proper code for your company, use what I said, the NICS search tools to identify the code that best reflects your primary business. And then you can also have a secondary code. And so again, it is that primary business where you're making the most amount of money that you're generating for your business. So the question is, do you have a NICS code? Or isn't there a poll question, Christina?
Yep, on the next slide.
Okay.
Okay, and then after this, we do have a couple questions coming in if you want to take a pause. But so our poll question today is, do you know your NICS codes? And I'm going to launch the poll. You could take a second to let us know if you're in business and know what your NICS codes are. Give it a few more seconds. Oh boy, polls are rolling in. It's looking pretty even. We might have to go back to that slide. All right. We're about half and half. You guys see my screen there? We got half of our folks said yes, half said no. We might want to go back. I did drop the NICS codes website link in the chat. If anyone has any specific questions, you can keep asking them in the Q&A, and we'll try to get to it before the end of the presentation.
Right. And so if you don't know your NICS code, you could go to that website and determine what it is. So about half and half. And so I see that we have a couple questions in the Q&A.
Yep.
And Christina, you want to share those questions?
Sure. So we had someone ask, How can you apply if your birth certificate doesn't have your race? I know you talked about showing some personal identification. What are other forms of documentation they can share?
So you need to self-identify who you are.
Mhm.
And we're going to talk about that, and we won't tell you how we figure out whether you are who you are, but you will self-determine your race. And we're going to talk about who those types of ethnicities that we accept. And it's the federal qualifications, not what I think, not what you think, but it's the federal. Okay, next slide.
Great. And then if I'm
Okay.
a startup company, my year would start once I have my first client, or when does their first year in business start?
So your first year in business starts when you get your name established, your business license, if applicable, and when you determine and establish your business and your income tax. And we're going to talk about that you need to provide income taxes. Now, I know some businesses might their first year made 10,000, some might have made 100,000. So it's not about whether you made 10,000 or 100,000. It's about whether you filed your federal taxes for 1 year after being in business. And we use the federal taxes and we'll request a copy of those taxes.
Great. And then let's answer a few more. Someone asked, if my business is located in North Charleston, can I still apply for the M&WBE certification for the city of Charleston?
Yes, you can. We will do certifications across the country.
Mhm.
And we will tell you the difference between out of state and in state. So it doesn't matter whether you live in Berkeley County, Dorchester County, whether you live in Columbia, South Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg, Atlanta, Georgia, we will do certifications for all of those businesses.
Perfect. All right. We can answer some more towards the end of the presentation.
Okay, all right. Someone asked the question, your demographic information, race or ethnicity. So these are what we call the federal government statutes. African American or Black, male or female. American Indian or Alaskan Native, male or female. Asian, male or female. Hispanic or Latino, male or female. Native Hawaiian or Island Pacific, male or female. Or a white or Caucasian female. Now, you need to make sure you check one of the boxes to the top, and then gender, which is male or female. So if I am an African-American female that owns 51% of my company, I would check female, African-American female. Now, if you are, so again, these are the federal statutes. And then you will put here whether you are first-time certification or a recertification, because recertification takes a little less time than first-time certifications. And we'll talk about that. And so a note says, minority is presumed to include any citizen of the United States who is, again, African-American, Native American, Island Pacific, Eskimo, Hispanic American, Island Pacific, or subcontinent of Asian American. And so you have to be a US citizen, one, or be a legal resident, which means you've got to have your legal documentation. Any questions there before we get into required attachments? Okay, good. Next slide. Now, required attachments. We said that the application is only 2 pages, front and back. However, these are the required documentation that you must attach to the application. It's a fillable certification application that must be signed and notarized, that you will have it signed and notarized that the information that you have provided is true and correct. We ask for copies of your signed federal tax return showing your gross receipts for the last 2 years, unless you've only been in business for at least 1 year, and then you can provide a copy of your personal taxes, and then 1 year of your business taxes. Copy of your current applicable business license. Now, not all businesses are required to have a business license, but if you are a business that requires a business license, then we require that your business license be from the area where you're doing business, whether it's the city of Charleston, if it's in Berkeley County, Goose Creek, or Dorchester County, or your other municipalities, a current applicable business license. And then if you have any other certifications, maybe you have a certification with SCDOT. And we're going to talk about why that's important. So if you have another certification with another agency at SBA or SCDOT or SBE with the county, submit a copy of that with your application and your documents, because it will expedite the process, whereby it would take only just would take 4 weeks to get you processed. It will only now take maybe 7 to 10 business days if you currently have a current certification. Kip, go back 1 slide. And then you need a copy of a current ID, your driver's license, or your legal ID card. We got to see you, your driver's license or an ID card, and then copies of an organizational document that was filed by the Secretary of State, if applicable. Not all businesses file their documents with the Secretary of State, but if you do, provide us with a copy of those documents, and it will help us certify you a little bit quicker, okay? And these are all required attachments. Next slide. And so reciprocal certifications are out-of-state businesses. And I said earlier, if you have a current state certification, Department of Transportation, which is DOT, or a federal certification, which is SBA, attaching it, like I said, expedites your approval. Reciprocal certification is required for all businesses outside of South Carolina. So this says this: if you are trying to get certified in the city of Charleston and your business is in Georgia, you need to provide us with a reciprocal certification that your business that's in Georgia is certified in Georgia. If your business is in California and you want to be certified with the city of Charleston, you need to provide me with a matching certification from California. This may come from a local, state, or federal program, as long as it matches the cities of Charleston standards. Can't make more than $7.5 million in gross sales, can exceed $1.3 million, 1.3 million, to 1.3 million in personal income, and that you must still own at least 51% of your company. And so we have in-state as well as out-of-state requirements. Next slide. And so now, when you first submit your income taxes, we require that you submit the entire set of documents. Now, these are things that we're looking for when we get your income taxes. If it's you may have a Schedule C. That Schedule C will show what your gross sales were for your business. Sometimes in personal taxes, we do a 1040 for personal taxes. But if I'm doing my business along with my wife, and we just do one tax return, but we get a Schedule C, that's what we're looking for, to be included in those documents. And then if you do corporate taxes, in your corporate tax documents, which is this 1120, you're going to have what we call a K1, K2, an M1, or M2 form. And those forms will provide us with pertinent information. It will show us, one, gross sales, ownership, whether you own 51%, 30%, or 100% are found on those documents. And so these are all forms that we need. So whether you are a corporation or an LLC, these are the income taxes and these forms of what we're using to help get you certified. And so we'll answer some questions before we get to the last part of it, is notification. So notarization. Anything, Christina, there?
Sure, not too specifically about taxes. There's some people asking about some reciprocal certification, and I'm not sure what this one stands for, but if you're certified with SDVOSB, would that help in expediting
Most
the process?
certainly. That's a South Carolina, North Carolina, that's South Carolina, Virginia certification, which is a national
Gotcha.
certification. And we do accept that as well. That's a great certification to have. And you may ask the question, why do I need all these certifications? Well, you know, it's just like this. When I went to high school, I got a high school diploma. When I went to college, I got a BA, BS degree. I worked on my master's. We got some people with PhDs. We got some. So the more certifications you have, the better you look when you're getting ready to do businesses. And so whether it is to do business with the state of South Carolina or with the city of Charleston, all these certifications will help.
Well, I think, what about this service disabled veteran certification?
So that one, we don't necessarily take that one. However, that is a certification, but we currently do not accept that one as a reciprocal. So you just complete our application and submit all your documents.
Sure. And then can you repeat the name for the Virginia, South Carolina?
It is called the South Carolina, Virginia Supply Diversity Certification.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And then finally, after getting all those documents put together and packaged, then you have to have it notarized. And this is where we take your word for what you're saying, that I certify that the above information that I provided is true and correct. I certify that the applicant, you own at least 51% of the named business and control the management of the business. I certify that my business meets all the requirements of the City of Charleston's M&WBE Enterprise Program, which is Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Program, as specified by the definition of the M&WBE or WBE on this form. I certify that my personal net worth does not exceed $1.3 million, excluding the value of my personal residence and the business that I am applying and is being certified for. You print your name, your signature, you get it notarized, stamped and sealed, and then submit it to our office. Next slide, please. So once it comes to my office, and if we can accept it via email or mail, and you can email it, and on the application it has we have a dedicated email address just for applications, or you can put the hard copies in the mail or bring it to our office. We're actually accepting in-person visitors to come to our office at number 2 George. So the approval process, if this is a new application, it can take anywhere between 30 and 45 days to process, because we need to verify that the information that you have provided is true. So once we get the documentation, then we go to work. Once approved, your business will be added. Go back. Once approved, your business will be added to our M&WBE database. You will receive a copy of this beautiful certification and a letter telling you, welcome to the City of Charleston's program. And then we'll also remind you in that letter to make sure that you go on Bidline and get registered with our procurement office. And this certification, the first time you are certified, it is good for 2 years. You see the name of your business will be there, the date of your certification, and you will be given what we call a certification number. And then it'll have an expiration date. And so when you're applying or doing businesses or competing for contracts, you will make a copy of this and attach it to any bid documents or any opportunities that you're trying to go afterwards. Make sure you make some copies because we will send you an original document as well as we may email you a copy upon request. So this is good for 2 years. So the first time it takes 30 to 45 days for us to process. But if you are already currently certified and have one of those acceptable reciprocal certification, we can get it done in 10 to 15 business days. And if you're extra nice and you call me and say, Ms. Jordan, I am competing for this contract for MUSC, or I'm competing for this contract for the county, and I'm not certified, I got my SCDOT or my SBA, I could, by any chance, could they get processed sooner? We try to get and make exceptions. So we could possibly do a recertification if you have one in 5 to 7 business days. That's if you already have a certification that it's acceptable. And then after the first 2 years, and you've been in business and you keep going, and you say, hey, now I want to be recertified, the next certification will be valid for 5 years. 5 years. And then when you submit for your recertification, then we will have that done in probably less than 5 to 15 business days because it's a recertification. And so we can get your process a little bit quicker. Now, I said earlier, there are various types of certifications, such as HubZone Business Certification, SBA. Someone asked a question about veteran-owned business certification, M&WBE certification, the SCDOT, which is South Carolina Department of Transportation. And then the state has one called the SMBCC. That is the Small Business Minority Business Council certification. And so these are all various certifications that your company can apply for. Next slide. And so that is the process. Can you believe it's just as simple as that? And so now we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions. Christina.
And folks, as you're thinking of questions, please put them in our Q&A box. We can have a first one. Can the city certification be used outside of the city of Charleston?
Yes, it can. It most certainly can. People call me all the time. Santee Cooper looking for certifications. The State Ports Authority is using our certification. Other businesses are using our certification.
Great. And would those tax return forms, or what other kinds of tax returns would you need if you're only in business for 1 year?
Your personal taxes, along with your 1 full year after being in business.
Great. How do you find out if your business needs a license?
So check with your residential, check with your local business service office, like our permit and business services with the city of Charleston will tell you whether you need a business license, or if you're in Berkeley County, check with your county or check with your state.
Great, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, but can you get certified at other municipalities like North Charleston or Somerville?
So North Charleston does not have their own certification. They use ours. The airport uses ours. Berkeley County uses ours. They don't have, so the city of Charleston, lucky for you that we are one of the recognizable certification agencies here in the regions.
Perfect. Okay, this one's a little specific. So someone has a business partner. They are both 50-50 in the business. We are both minorities. One person is a woman and the other is an African-American male. Would we be able to qualify as a minority-owned business, or would one of us have to own 51%?
Oh, no, if one is a female and the other one is a man that meets one of the criteria, it's the same.
Sure. So as they're filling out the application, they could pick either partner to
Yeah,
self-identify.
you can say John and Mary's, or John Smith and Mary Allen Jones are all owners, and they certify, and you just provide a copy of both IDs.
Sure. Great. And then do we provide a copy of our deed if we run our business from our personal residence? They are
This is-
100% the owner of an
Yes.
LLC and don't have a commercial location yet.
You know what, that's a great question, and thank you for bringing that back to my attention. And so we have to see where the business is being operated from. So if it's a home-based business, a copy of your deed, a copy of a lease are all required, and it's all acceptable, because we do have a whole lot of home-based businesses. Not everybody now has gone back into a brick and mortar. So people running their businesses out of their garage, out of their home office. So all we need is to see where the business is being conducted from.
Great. And then someone started their company in April of last year. They're starting their tax return for 2021. Can they file for our certification this year?
So that's a great question. So it's April to April that the business has been in business for 1 year. So because sometimes people started their business in October of 21, but they got taxes that they wanted to do. So you really haven't been in business 1 full year. Now, if you were doing that business and you did a Schedule C with your personal taxes, and it shows on your personal taxes that you had a Schedule C, then it shows that you've been in business for 1 year. That will work with a Schedule C.
Sure. So is there a reason you must be in business 1 year before getting certified?
I will tell you, we most recently changed that requirement. It was before, it was 2 years. Now, one of the reasons for being certified, it's like this. Do you get a bachelor's degree in 1 year, or is it a 4-year degree? And so certification with 1 year requirement says that we hope that you've been in business and you know what you're doing. And that you can certify that, hey, I know how to run my business. If I'm competing for a $10 million contract or $1 million contract, people want to know that you've been in business longer than 6 months. Now, you may have left the business and started your own business, and you can validate that, but at the minimum, you must have been in business for at least 1 year.
Sure. Let's see, does Mount Pleasant count to file if they're doing work with clients in the city of Charleston?
Repeat, I'm sorry, what's that?
I'm a little confused. Let's see, does Mount Pleasant count to file? Maybe if their business is located in Mount Pleasant, but they're doing work with clients in the city of Charleston, should they get certified with our program?
Definitely, definitely. Remember I said that we do certification, doesn't matter whether you're in Goose Creek or James Island or Somerville, get certified. Yes, most definitely.
Great. And then if their address changes after becoming certified with us, do they have to update it with us?
Yes, you send us an email with notification that if you sold your company, there's been a change in management, there's been a change in address, there's been a name change, because sometimes people change their business. They used to be doing businesses as one thing, now they're doing business as something else. So any changes, you are to notify our office via email or in writing of any of those changes so that we can update the database.
Sure. And this is kind of a similar question, but since our 1 year requirement is still new, they said they registered their business in May of 2021 and will be doing their taxes this month. Can they apply for our program this May?
So you still, okay, you can apply for the program in May, but you need to provide me 1 year of taxes plus your personal taxes.
Okay. Great. I think we've got some more specific questions in here, which we will share Ruth's contact information at the end of the presentation. We've got some very detailed, specific questions that might need some more time to dig through. So Ruth, I don't know if you want to continue and we can.
So let's continue. We can take about 3 more. And then I want to share with you some upcoming opportunities. You don't want to miss these upcoming opportunities because we want to make sure that you take advantage. Although you may not be certified with us yet, but we still will provide you access and opportunities that will be upcoming. 1 or 2 more questions, Christina.
Sure. If they use a DBA, does the certification work for a DBA?
Yes, doing business as
Yep.
long as you provide documentation as to the name of the business that you're certifying.
Great. And then for folks with their deeds, what if their deed is operated? What if the deed is operated out of the home office, but their name is not on the deed?
So if your name, so it's the same thing. If it's just like, take for instance, if you were renting an office space at a co-op, your name may not be on that deed, but you should have something rather to include that you're receiving mail there. It could be a copy of the deed as well as maybe a light bill or something that shows that you're actually there at that residence. Because we want to make sure you're not from Russia or Ukraine or Germany operating in Charleston.
Okay, I got 2 more for you. Are there any bids for mental health related services you're aware of?
So may not necessarily be for the city of Charleston, but they could be opportunities for MUSC or for the county, because again, your certification is just not for work with the city of Charleston. It is also for you to be able to get other opportunities elsewhere. So people come to us to get our certification to go do business in Berkeley County or go do business with private sector. So we may not have services that may be available mental health because we provide city services, whereas medical agencies may provide healthcare services or mental health care services, but the certification will help validate who you are. It gives you that leg up to be able to compete. And we said that earlier.
Great.
Yes, they can, provided that they are American.
Great. We had
Yes.
a question come to us panelists in the chat. So kind of a good one to tie up the Q&A. Ruth, do you speak directly to applicants that need assistance when applying or if they have
Yes, so
questions?
again, please, y'all, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself. My information is on the screen. Next slide. Well,
I think it's
at the end of this slide,
Yeah,
our
we'll
contact information will be made available. I know you found us. Okay, we know you. I know you found us via our website. We'll have my contact information along with Christina's. Feel free. We will be able to assist you in any way. We also take walk-ins to our office. So if you want to sit down and have a conversation or a Zoom meeting, one-on-one, we're here to help you because we want you to become certified. We want you to be successful. And so our website is www.charleston-sc.gov/127/MWBE with the city of Charleston. And so again, please feel free to give me a call. I want to talk about upcoming opportunities. Mark your calendar, save the date. Here at the city of Charleston, we are going to be hosting our 2nd annual Small Business Opportunity Expo. This is a free expo that will be held in person at the Gilliard Center over at 2 George, and that's going to be March 24th, 2022, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. At this Small Business Opportunity Expo, we're going to have the entire city of Charleston on display. How to do business with the city of Charleston. How to do business with the city of North Charleston will be there. The town of Mount Pleasant will be there. The county will be there. Berkeley County will be there. State Ports Authority will be there. The water company, housing authority, all of these businesses who are looking to do businesses with women minority owned businesses will be at this expo. You don't want to miss this. And so it's all going to be free. And our goal is connecting business to business. And so this is one of these networking opportunities. Bring your business cards, bring your capability statements, be ready to bring your smile, talk about your business. And we're hoping that you will have a match. And this is going to be in person from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. over at the Gilliard Center. We like to call it the Gilliard Auditorium down on 2 George Street from 9 to 3. And I will also tell you, we'll also have some free business workshops that will be ongoing upstairs. And so it will be like, are you ready to borrow? So that will be a 1-hour free webinar that will be in person. We're also looking at meet the lenders. Maybe somebody says, well, I need to get some grant money. I need to get some funding. Those organizations will be there as well. SBDC, the Klein Fund, the Women Business Center, the Chamber, the Visitors Bureau, all of these organizations will be there to meet you there on March the 24th. And then at 12 noon, we're going to have a free business luncheon roundtable where we're going to have the mayor of Charleston, Mayor John Tecklenburg, will be on the main stage along with several businesses to talk about what we can do and what are some of their challenges, what are some of the successes of doing business here in the city. It's going to be moderated. It's going to be a great time, but you need to register, y'all. I mean, we're looking at about 200 to 300 businesses to show up that day. And so you need to register. Register for the small business workshops because those will only be in groups of 30 and the upstairs classrooms upstairs. And so you need to get registered. So please go to our website and you can find that at, again, on our screen, charlestonsc.gov/small biz expo. Small biz expo. And so we're excited. We're putting this together. This is just for you. It's the beginning of the year. You know, we want those organizations and those companies and our partner and our resource partners to meet you. And so we want to see you there on March 24th. And then finally, save the date as well. SBA is one of our resource partners. They have, go back one, they have something called 46 counties in 46 days. SBA will be doing some resource outreach for startup businesses, lending, contracting, disaster preparedness. And so look for it. They will be working with us here with the city of Charleston with this 46 counties and 46 days. And I believe they're going to be in Charleston. I may get the date wrong. I think it's March 6th or 8th. The SBA will be in Charleston to talk about what they can do to help businesses, whether you're looking for SBA lending or startup. So look for it, and you can find out the information and the date when they will be in Charleston County at www.sba.gov/South Carolina. And so there's a lot going on. We want to see you on March 24th. And again, I want to thank all of you all for participating on today. We have about 3.5 minutes. And so any final parting words or questions, Christina?
Sure. Kip, if you can go to that last slide, there we go. There's Ruth's contact information on there. We had some detailed questions. Again, that it'd be great if you had some one-on-one time with Ruth to really hash through so she can help you out. She does this all the time. We've got folks in our office. We're calling her and emailing her with questions. And again, this presentation was recorded today. We will share it on our city's YouTube page. We also have several other recordings of small business workshops that we've held in the past that are available to check out. So you should see an email about that tomorrow. And at the end of this webinar, you'll get a link to a brief survey. If you can help fill that out about how today's presentation was, because we shared some new program updates for this year, as well as there's some options to comment on workshops you'd like to see us do. We host these webinars probably monthly, sometimes twice a month, as well as our Expo. So we always like to get feedback on what our small business community wants to learn about.
And also, when will the link go live for the Business Expo, Christina?
It's a great question. I am working on the registration page and I promise it will be up soon, but we will have that on the Small Business Expo website. And for all of our folks that registered for this webinar and previous webinars, we'll be sending out some direct emails with that link. So you all get first priority.
See, aren't you glad you visited and attended the webinar today? And so you will get a personal invitation for the Expo. And so we want to see you all there on March 24th. Share the word. Make sure you register for some of the small business workshops that will be held during that day. Bring a friend and bring somebody along with you on March 24th. Again, I want to thank Kip. He's one of our new interns. Great job, Kip. And again, Christina, thank you. And again, thank you all for attending. Why be certified? Get certified.